Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another brand new video. A new video that I know a lot of people wanted uploaded yesterday and they wanted the excitement and everything like that, and trust me, I'm the exact same as you, but just like my midweek bet this week, people, it never came. So we need to move on and forget about it and refocus, people, because what stands ahead of us right now is the biggest and best derby that's left in this over-commercialised half scarf society. Sit next to each other, enjoy the game together. There is one single rivalry left in football that keeps true football alive, people, and that's what's upon us. It is less than 24 hours to go to the frickin' Old Firm. So this video's only going to be about tomorrow's frickin' game, both from the opposition and obviously from us. Anyone who's wanting to know my thoughts and opinions on the transfer window and everything like that, we'll upload that maybe Sunday or Monday. But there's a game up on the horizon, so let's go ahead and talk about it then, shall we? And as always, we will start off with the oppositional preview and have a look at Celtic Football Club, who, at my current time of recording, are sitting first in the SPFL. Bit rude. And unfortunately, people, I've got to start off the video by saying that Celtic Football Club come into this game on absolute flames. I'm talking about Anakin on Mustafa levels of flames, ladies and gentlemen, because Celtic have scored 25 goals in their opening 6 matches as their free-flowing attacking football has just ripped teams to shred and they've put them to sword time and time again. And as I said already in the video, they scored 25 goals in 6 matches, but it could and probably should have been frickin' more than that. Now, not only do I not want to mention that, people, and mention how good Celtic have been going forward this season, I would love to sit here and say they couldn't find their own search bar on the frickin' web browser, but even taking myself away from that feeling, genuinely, their attacking prowess isn't a surprise to me, especially if you've been paying attention to the last couple of preview videos we've had versus Celtic. We've kind of talked about piece by piece, especially post-January, the almost attacking machine that Ange Postecoglou has put into place. He's been backed well, he's spent well, he's brought in some very good attacking players, and this is what's been coming, people, and it always will be, in my opinion, because that is not only Celtic strength, but I think it's Ange Postecoglou's strength as well, because there's almost a lack of respect in a way for the opposition in Scottish football, and I mean that in the best way in terms of the footballing sense. The manager there just loves to attack, puts attacking players on. When they're winning 1 or 2-0, it's attacking sub. He wants to run up the frickin' scoreline, and that for me is why they get so many eye-popping results and many high-scoring games that they get. That's just how they're built to play. However, and there is a however in today's video, because as impressive as they've been going forward, they've not been the exact same going back. Now, I know Celtic fans will call me bitter here and everything like that and come after me and say this and say that, but I can only base my opinion on what I've actually seen. And in games that, let's be honest, every game that Celtic's played so far this season, they should be winning, but yet still the opposition has had chances against them. I mean, the first game of the season, Celtic had a perfect start, scoring within the first couple of minutes versus Aberdeen at Parkhead. It looked like it could have been a cricket score, but Aberdeen grew into the game and had chance after chance, and Johnny Hayes missed a chance that only his family would have been celebrating in the Aberdeen end, ladies and gentlemen. It was a gilt edge. I still can't believe he didn't score before half-time. It was genuinely harder to miss. But it wasn't just on opening day. Of course, Ross County scored 2 goals against them over the 2 games. Now, again, Celtic's attack eventually blew them out the water, but the first game in the league, Ross County kept it very down, very dirty, dragged it down to their level and had Celtic level with 10 minutes to go before the attack took over in their most recent game as well. It was almost a similar story. Ross County scoring, pegging Celtic back, threatening to make it ugly before Celtic's attack just took off with the last 15 minutes and blew them off the frickin' park. However, there was a game at Parkhead where, again, tomorrow's game is going to be played versus Hearts that's very interesting to look at, because Hearts rotated pretty much all their best players. This wasn't the Hearts team that you're expecting to be playing at Parkhead. There was no Craig Gordon, there was no Barry Mackay, there was no Shanklin in that starting 11. Now, again, the latter two eventually got subbed on in the game, but the Hearts rotated squad made it a fight, made it a battle, and again kept it 1-0 for the majority of the game, creating a couple of opportunities where they should have done maybe better on occasions and everything like that before ended up getting 2 red cards in the last 5 minutes of the game, and Celtic wrapped up the game with a goal to finish it. But again, there was these moments, and that's what you've got to talk about in a preview video. There's no point in just pretending they didn't exist. We talk about it all here, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and his phenomenal Celtic's been going forward. They have gifted a couple of things and looked a little bit slack now and again at the back, and again, I'll take anything I can get going to Parkhead. It's a unanimously hard place to fricking go. Look at the teams that struggled there, so aye, I'll take that, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we get that opportunity. Hopefully big Antonio Cholak is there to fricking take it away. That would be delicious, ladies and gentlemen. But aye, that's all really good to say about the Celtic side, regarding their shape and everything like that. They still line up in the 4-3-3, and again, if you sit off this team, if you let this team settle, and if you give them far too much respect, they will pull your pants down and roast you, people. Look at the Kamara result. Look at the 9-0 versus Dundee United. These teams folk parking the bus was just enough. It's no enough anymore, people. You've got to actually battle. You've got to get fricking stuck in. If you give this Celtic team space, they will score the goals they're scoring. And honestly, it was 9-0, and I know that got a lot of headlines and obviously got Jack Ross sacked. I don't know why he was even employed in the first place. However, it could have been 13-14 in that match if you ask any Celtic fan. So aye, Dundee United was lucky it was only 9 people, but again, that's the mindset, and if you approach that way versus this Celtic team, you will get punished. But aye, regarding their formation, again, it's the 4-3-3. Jota's still out in the left wing, but he has been sort of changing and tweaking. I don't know if he'll do it versus Rangers. Maybe he'll fancy a Barisic run or something like that. So he has been tweaking from side to side. But if I'm honest with you, I think Jota's much more dangerous from the left-hand side, cutting in. So that could be a key battle between him and Tavernier. But even in saying that, people, they've got goals all apart. They've got Jota there. They've got Kyogo. They've got Giamakis. They've got Abara. They've got Almeida. They've got these guys now that can score goals. And for me, that's where the game's going to be won and lost. If we have to have a good game tomorrow, it's to be and won in the wing position. It's not the centre of the park, which is normally something I say. If you've got to win versus Celtic, you need to win the middle of the park. For the way these two teams operate, us and them, a lot of it's going to come down the channels. And again, they're not one-dimensional, so it's not just Jota versus Tav. It's got to be the other way as well. Barisic needs to be big in this game, and Barisic needs to win his freaking battle. And if we have that, people, we could have a successful day. But aye, that for me is the key area of the game. And honestly, that's all I've really got to say. They're a very good side. They're very good going forward. And when they're getting it all this way, they're as good as anyone. However, if you get them running that way instead of it all coming that way, you might get a chance or two, and aye, fingers crossed we're there to take it. But that's all I'm going to say about the opposition. Now it's time to get to the Rangers end, people, where again, I know there's frustration out there, I know there's disappointment, there was no transfer window and everything like that, or a deadline day signing, or a buzz and that relief of getting a new signing and everything. I know, but we have to move that aside right now and just focus on the team, because believe it or not, despite the disappointing draw at East Road and disappointing game versus USG, I think this Rangers team is playing very, very well, and I think they're actually coming into this game versus Celtic, especially on the back of what happened versus PSV, with genuine belief in their ability and is feeling as good about themselves as they possibly can. So from that perspective, they're about as good as they can be. And is this team capable of getting a result at Parkhead? Are you honestly going to sit and argue and say that we can? Of course we can, people. It's football. It can go either way. Celtic could win tomorrow. We could win tomorrow. It could be a draw. It could end up nothing each. You never know in football, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know, man. The way this is getting presented, it's going to be like Celtic's way up here and we're doing it. I didn't agree with that at all, ladies and gentlemen. I know they're scoring goals and everything like that for fun, but for me, it's an old firm game of football. I don't know why people pretend that it is something else, that it's no form and goals and fun and away of European ties and beating PSV and everything like that. It's all great, and listen, it all stacks up and makes delicious things to talk about, but we know when that whistle goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's 11 versus 11, and it's about winning your individual battle. When the team that has the more players in it that's won their battle across for their opposite usually comes out and it will be dirty, it will be aggressive, there will be yellow cards, it will be feisty. Anyone expecting a spectacle of football, I think is going to be bitterly disappointed tomorrow. I'm expecting fireworks and all the best way a rivalry game can bring you in. That's my thoughts and opinions in terms of mindset, mentality. We can go there and win. It's just about us going there and actually doing it. And that right there actually gives me the perfect transition to what I want to talk about next, because we're talking about approach, we're talking about mentality, we're saying we can't sit off them. That leads me directly to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst in this game, because to me, he got that first game at Parkhead, that 3-0 pumping, completely wrong, because again, he paid too much respect, he was too conservative, he got his pants pulled down. But where he's been getting a lot of critics in that ahead of this game and this and this and this said about him, it's almost like people are forgetting the last 2 times he's managed against Celtic, because for me, despite getting everything wrong in that Parkhead 3-0 loss, and again I'll hold my hand up despite me loving the lad saying he did get it wrong, I thought the way he's approached the cup semi-final, which we won, was brilliant bit of management. And again, the last game at Parkhead that of course finished 1-1 between Rangers and Celtic, I think he got it absolutely spot on. And if Sakala could finish his dinner, man, we'd have won that game, because he missed an absolute sitter after scoring the hard opportunity. So that's kind of the way it goes. But again, for me, it's all down to how Gio approaches this game. If he keeps the mentality and the aggressive nature of let's just go out there and win it and battle it like he almost had to do in the last 2 Old Firms, I think they've got more than a good chance. But if we go into this game trying not to lose it and maybe playing it safe and all that, we could end up getting scalped. But moving Gio to one side, there is obviously another player that I want to talk about who could be a key man in the game. We talked about Jota probably being their star man. You've got to stop him because he's on an electrifying start. Well, we've also had someone in our team that's having an electrifying start, and his name is Antonio Cholak. We've kind of touched on him a couple of times during today's video, but his clinical edge could be the difference maker. I know there's so many Morelos massive fans. Listen, I like Morelos too, but people talking about, oh, he's not here, and oh, how sad it. Nah, it's no. This lad, he seems to be a lot more clinical, and again, in this type of game versus Celtic, you didn't get 4 or 5 opportunities to score every single game. So I'm hoping Big Cholak continue his fantastic form and be the difference maker for Rangers. And I think if he is, because for me, he's got the biggest spotlight on him, because if he doesn't perform, people will say, right, I don't care what you've done, throw him at the window, we want Morelos back, you're no good enough to lead the line. That'll be the narrative that gets spun. So there is a lot of pressure on the laddie. He's physical, he's up against 2 physical centre-halves, but again, if he can answer the challenge, for me, that'll be it, signed, sealed and delivered, who our number 9 is for the season. If he has a game tomorrow and he is the difference maker tomorrow, for me, he's our guy from now on. So I think now we're given everything we've talked about the opposition, we've talked about Giovanni and how I think we need to approach this game, and I've circled sort of or underlined one player I think really needs to have a game if we're going to have a successful even, and obviously we've talked about where the game's going to be won and lost, in my opinion. Now it's time to get to some injury updates, team news, all that malarkey, because by God, do we have a lot to talk about from the Rangers perspective. Let's start off with some good news then, shall we? Let's start off here, right? Morelos is back. Giovanni said he's got the right attitude, he's approaching the game, he's in the squad for tomorrow, right? Let's fingers crossed that's actually true and there's no petulant child movements, we couldn't afford that again. Moving on to the next player, we have of course Glenn Kamara returning, been back amongst training. That again, not sure if he's going to be selected for tomorrow, because once you've got a wee problem with your knee, it's not really the game you want to get flung into, but again we'll see about there. We got some positive news regarding Ben Davies. He is training with the squad, so that's more positive, but again, nothing to be confirmed if he's going to be in contention for the game tomorrow, but he is closest out the centre halves, but I'll get there in a minute. Kamara remains on the same timeline. He's picking up, he's working, he's almost at full training now, so he's a couple of weeks away before getting involved. I think we all knew as soon as he wasn't a part of the bench on Tuesday, Wednesday, he was still a week or 2 away. And then we get to some long-term injuries then, shall we? Hadji remains on the same timeline after the World Cup. Hollander is still out for a long time, and now they're putting John Souttar the same timeline as Hollander. And this one's a real shame on the big man, but it's what's followed him all his career, and you kind of hate talking about injuries, man, but this is why I said all last season when everyone was going off their nut that John Souttar was here to replace Connor Goldson. It's just not going to happen, people, and it's unfortunate for the big man. Hopefully he gets back to playing football soon, but it looks like he's out for a long time now, and again, him and Hollander's rumoured to be coming back roughly at the same time or on the same schedule, so that's scary to actually think about. But that's the updates regarding the players that we sort of knew about. Let's talk about the fresh injury ahead of this game then, shall we? And yep, it is a sore one, especially for how we play and how I was looking forward to seeing us play. Tom Lawrence is out the game. He's out for a couple of weeks again. He picked up the knock at Ross County. He's tried to run it off it's just flaring up, so he's not back now into the international break, and that there for me is a genuine loss. John Souttar and all that, they aren't major losses to the starting 11 in my game, in my opinion, ahead of this game. Tom Lawrence is 100% a loss, so up steps someone else now. It's time to really get in there. That could give a Ryan Jack an opportunity to come back into middle of the park, stiffen up that and maybe make it more aggressive in there. You could see a wee tweak. Maybe Glenn Kamara gets played now ahead of schedule. It's interesting, people, but Tom Lawrence is ruled out of the game, but thankfully we can squash any rumour that Tavernier is injured. That's nonsense, people. Tavernier's fine and will be leading us out tomorrow at Parkhead. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's the oppositional preview, that's the Rangers conversation, and that is the latest team news. Now all that's left for me and thee today is try to predict the unpredictable, and that gets even harder when it's an Old Firm game. Let me know your thoughts and opinions ahead of the game, what you feeling, what you thinking, how do you see the game going, who is your key man in the comment section. Well, that'd be very, very interesting to see how you see the actual game. For me, I'm going to go with the tried and trusted. I know I've went for it 2 previews in a row, but if there was ever a game to scream out 2-1, it's this one right here. I back it. Who cares? Alright, I'm backing us to win the game. That would be absolutely delicious. Cholak anytime. That's for me. That'd be nice. And can't wait till the game now, ladies and gentlemen. That's time to wrap up today's video. I will see you win, lose or draw tomorrow night. Hopefully there's a massive smile on the Nash. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. All the best and bye-bye.